Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is now time for another episode of the Blind Metal Gamer Podcast. Today, I'll be discussing the next generation of game consoles and what I think they're going to offer to the table, not only for gaming prowess, but for accessibility and what other functions they might offer in their release. As you all know, at the Game Awards 2019, we got the reveal of the Xbox Series X, or Xbox or XBSX for short. I'm going to be honest with you. I saw the trailer. I even looked at it um, on YouTube. And yeah, the Xbox Series X, what were Microsoft thinking as far as the design? They're trying to go for a PC look. They're trying to go for that PC-esque feel. And then the controller is going to have its own share button. To the extent of what they're going to do with it, I don't know. Um, as for the D-pad, I hear it's going to be more of a disc shaped, so really good for fighting games. So that's kind of cool. From what I've seen of the PS5 controller, a prototype of it, it's still going to retain the classic um, layout that it has for its D-pad. I'm going to be honest. I think that if Sony actually would use a bit of a brain and use some sense, they should take the Nikon Revolution Pro controller and adapt that for the DualShock 5. That's just me talking. And who knows? They may do that. I'm not being accusatory and saying Sony or don't have a brain. I'm just saying they should make their controller have a more ergonomic feel and their pad more relevant for fighting games. Now, back to the next generation launch. Each console, PS5 and Xbox Series X, will launch in holiday 2020. The price point for each console is unknown. We do know of one game that's being worked on, or rather two, for Xbox Series X. That is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 and that other game. I forget the name of it. But now I want to go into the point of, as far as the price, I'm going to go on and just straight up call it out. I think it's going to either be $500 per console, or one's going to be $500 and one's going to be $600, or they could both be $600 based on the technology they're using inside the console. SSDs, ray tracing support, and stuff like that. I believe that these new consoles are going to be powerful, yes. And yeah, I'm going to actually have one. I plan on buying PS5. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, Blind Metal Gamer, why would you buy a console that is probably not going to be fully featured out as far as accessibility? And now that leads me into my next topic. Their accessibility. I know that the new Xbox will have a narrator on it for the blind and visually impaired. So if I were to have to base my assessments on accessibility for that only, I'd probably go with Xbox. The only problem with that is again, new hardware. And new hardware would mean I'd have to get new software. Now, as for Sony and their accessibility, I really don't know. They really need to play catch up in terms of their text to speech. Granted, right now it's great, or it's rather good, like I said in my first podcast. However, I think that for them to really compete, this PS5 needs to be fully text-to-speech compatible. It needs to be supported, the text-to-speech that is, on all on all facets of the console, such as friends lists, trophies, your account information, the PlayStation Store. A lot of that needs support with text-to-speech, and I think Microsoft has the edge on Sony in that aspect. I still don't know what console I'm going to get personally for the next gen because, I just don't. I have to look at other factors such as cost and what am I going to need as far as accessories, headsets, etc. And then let's see. As for features, okay, we both know they're each going to have a share button. They're each going to probably have streaming capabilities straight from the console to Twitch or YouTube. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Sony comes out in February and says, hey, our console is going to have not only the share feature, but debuting for the first time, full-on backwards compatibility. I know that Microsoft had that with Xbox One, and they're going to have that fully with Xbox Series X. PlayStation 4 is supposed to have backwards compatibility, but I don't know to what extent of backwards compatibility. I don't know what extent theirs is going to be at. I know PS4 games will be compatible, both digital and physical. Now, as for PS3, PS2, and PS1, we don't know. That's the thing. They could come out in February and say, okay, here's PS5, it'll be X amount of dollars, and you can play all PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1 on this machine. Now, another thing I've been thinking of too is this. I heard rumor that Xbox could have a discless version of their next-gen console, a cheaper version of it. What if Sony does the same thing and says, okay, we're going to go have a disc-based version that's going to be X, but we're going to have this version over here that's going to be less than the disc-based version for those who are wanting to be getting entered into the PlayStation brand or who are wanting to be entered into that and not have to be burdened with the discs, which, in my opinion, would be great for children or younger gamers, or for those who have trouble with handling discs. If you're in a situation where the person, hey, I want this PlayStation or Xbox, and I have trouble with discs, I can't hold them, or, they're hard for me to use. Here's this digital option where you can just download the game directly to your hard drive, or if it's going to support external hard drives, get the external hard drive and get that in there, and then you're pretty much good to go and you're golden. Now, as for features and apps, I think they're going to each have Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Spotify. They'll probably have Disney Plus. I wouldn't be surprised if they have, of course, obviously, PlayStation did live from PlayStation. I think that the Twitch app is a lot better than that. I think they should just do away with, and this is just the Sony side of things, live from PlayStation, and just have your Twitch app and your YouTube app. And as for the Playroom, again, I think that, in my opinion, was just a waste of space on Sony's console. I know they were just trying something different with their brand, and I think the Playroom, in my opinion, it was good in theory and good for easy trophies, because I gave it the old college try, but again, personally speaking, I just don't see the value in it. I mean, PSVR is going to be a hot thing. I think they're going to use that to their advantage and expand on that. Microsoft didn't mention anything about VR. That's not saying they would have VR. They won't have VR. I think they might actually be gearing up for it. They're just not announcing it yet. They're wanting to wait until, say, maybe in E3 or in XO 2020 to announce that. And I wouldn't be surprised it would be in their favor. Or they might do that at the next Game Awards. Who knows? As for controllers, I know that, like I said, they're probably each going to have a share button. I'm pretty sure the PlayStation controller is going to have a touchpad, although it may not be in the same vein as it is now. It might be a touch screen, which I think would be pretty cool to see how they do that. As for the games, I know for PS5 we got Godfall. That's going to be a launch title. That looks just sick. I mean, it looks epic. And then Xbox, I think you have whatever that one game is, and then Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Oh my god. That game looked extremely realistic. I mean, it looked almost like real life. That's how real that looked. I'm like, wow. So, as for next gen, I'm going to round it out here by saying this. I'm really excited about the next generation of gaming and where it's going to go. I mean, if each of these consoles are going to have next ray tracing and SSDs, etc., yeah. Now, as I've alluded to before, I want better accessibility for Sony because they need it, and I think that, again, if Mark Cerny or anyone over in the Sony camp is listening, just go on. Make the effort to make your text-to-speech better for the next generation and beyond. And I want to go on and end this by praising developers such as NetherRealm, such as EA, for making their games, for really leading the forefront into accessibility and things like that, because that's going to really help gamers like me who are blind and visually impaired, or who might have other disabilities, I know on the Spider-Man game, QuickTime events. Okay, let's say you can't do QuickTime events. Give us the puzzles. Give us the option to not have to have those burdens, in the next generation going forward. And hey, I'm looking forward to PS5 myself. I mean, that's what I'm picking up. So, I'm going to end it by saying this. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will see you guys in 2020. And in episode 6 of the Blind Metal Gamer podcast, I'm going to give my predictions for Combat Pack, or not Combat Pack 2, but I'm going to give my predictions for what games I feel will really dominate in the next generation, since that's going to be the big talking point. And I will give my prediction as to what will be coming as far as next gen properties, IPs, etc. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll see you guys next time. So long, everyone, and peace out.